gonna turn off soon.
Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much guys for coming back. My name is Cynthia. If you're here for the first time, you're welcome. And to my returning subscribers, you guys are highly welcome. I'm gonna be showing us how to make this short dress with a ruffle at the lower part. I have 2 yards of cotton fabric here. So let's get started. I'm cutting the front and the back together. This is the front and this is my button overlap. I have 2.5 yards of button overlap. I will fold the button overlap inside. This is the front side. So I will fold it inside. This is the front and this is the back. The full length of the dress is 37 inches. I'll be using 30 inches for the upper part and the 7 inches for the lower part. I'll make a line. This is my starting line. So this is 31 inches. I want it to be 30 inches after sewing it. I'm adding 1 inch for joining allowance. I will place the measurement. The shoulder measurement is 10 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. I will add ½ inch for sewing allowance. That's 8.5 inches. I will mark 3 inches for the neck width. I'll mark 1 inch for the back depth and 3 inches for the front depth. Connect it. I will mark 1 inch for shoulder slope here. Connect it to the neckline. I'll place half of the armhole measurement here. To get the armhole measurement, you divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5 inches. The one I'm working with is 8.5 inches. I'll mark 8.5 inches here. Right on this 8.5 inches, I will still mark my shoulder measurement here, 8.5 inches as well. Shoulder measurement is 8.5 inches. I will connect it up. I will look for the midpoint of the armhole. The midpoint is 4.25. I'll make a line here. This is my chest line. I will come inside by ½ inch. This is the front armhole and this is the back armhole. I'll place 1/4 of the bust measurements right on the bust line here. The bust measurement is 42 inches. Divided by 4 is 10.25. I will mark 1 inch for sewing allowance and 1 inch for ease. So you can see the dress is not too fitted. It's a little bit loose. You can add ½ inch for ease if you like. So I will connect it. This is the back armhole. And I went inside by ½ inch. This is the front armhole. From shoulder to waist is 17.5 inches. From waist to hip is 9 inches. And this is the full length. So I'll place 1/4 of the waist measurement here and 1/4 of the hip measurement here. 1/4 of the waist measurement is 8.5 inches. I will add 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. I will go to the hip side. 1/4 of the hip measurement is 11.5 inches. I will mark 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. That's 2 inches. So I will bring it down here, mark the same thing. So I'll go ahead and connect the lines. I'll connect it like so. And bring it down to the hip. So from the hip, I will bring it down to the lower part. I will go to the upper part and mark ½ inch for sewing allowance. Go ahead and cut it out. Cutting out the back armhole. This is the front. I will lift it up like so and cut out the front neck depth. I will still cut out the front armhole. This is the back and this is the front. So I will bring out the button overlap. Remember, we folded it inside. I will split it open. So this is the front. We'll go ahead and cut out the sleeves. I'm cutting out the two together. The two sleeves. It's a 3/4 sleeve. There is a little gather at the upper part of the sleeve. I'll be adding some allowance to it for the gather. My armhole measurement is 8.5 inches. I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance and add extra 3 inches. I will use this for the gather at the upper part. And I will come down by 4 inches. Still mark it like so. There's a little gather at the lower part. The length, I'm making use of 18 inches instead of 16 inches. I added extra 2 inches to it so that by the time I make that little gather, it will push up a little bit. My round armhole is 11 inches divided by 2 is 5.5 inches. I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance. I will add extra 2.5 inches. I will use it to make a little gather. I will go ahead and connect it like so and bring it down. I'm cutting it out. So this is the sleeve. Done with the cutting, we'll go ahead and put the fabric together. We start with the front. This is my 2.5 inches where I'll be adding my button. I will just iron a very light interfacing on this place. So after I've done that, I will take 1/2 inch and take it like so. I will stitch it here very close to the tip. I will do the same thing for this side. Have iron interfacing to it. So I decided not to sew it. I'm not going to be stitching it now. I'll be stitching the overlap along with the gather. So I'll be doing that later. What we're going to do is to join the shoulders and the side together. This is the front. I will lay the front and the back against each other, right side facing right side. I will use 1/2 inch to stitch the side and use 1 inch to join the side because 1 inch is my sewing allowance. I will stitch it right from the armhole all the way to the lower part. I will do the same thing for the side. So guys, I'm done joining the shoulders and the side. I will measure the bottom side here, times it by 2 and use it to cut out the ruffles. So what I have here is 56 inches. I will times it by 2 because I'm making a gather. 52 times 2 is 112. If you like, you can times it by 1.5 because the gather is not that full. So I will cut out 112 inches. That's the wideness. And the length is 8.5 inches. I will use 1 inch to hem the bottom part and use 1/2 inch to join it to the dress. So I have times 2 of the measurement here, 112. So I will open it up like so. This is the right side. I will use my gather stitch to gather it. I will still open up the button overlap because I'm going to be stitching them together. I will open up the button overlap. I will leave 2.5 inches here because 2.5 inches is my button overlap. I will start making the gather after the 2.5 inches. As I stitch, I gather with my gather stitch. I'll make sure this 112 fit in this bottom part here, lower part here. So I will use 1/2 inch to join them together. Before you join these, make sure you hem this with 1 inch. Make sure you hem this with 1 inch. You take 1/2 inch twice, hem it around before joining them. I will also make a little gather here. This is the sleeve. And I will gather this upper part here, just the upper part here, and make a little gather here. I will gather this up to 6.5 inches. My round sleeve divided by 2 is 5.5 inches. I added 1 inch for sewing allowance, that's 6.5 inches. So I'll make sure I gather it up to 6.5 inches, just a little gather. Okay, guys, I'm done attaching the ruffles to the dress. So this is the button overlap. So I make sure I stitch the lower part attached to it. So I've already stitched the button overlap. This is 2.5 inches sewing allowance. Remember, I folded it inside. I ironed interfacing on this side just from the beginning to the end, including the ruffles. I stitch it very close to the tip. Same thing on this side. And cut this side out. So for the sleeve, I've gathered the upper part, and the lower part I make a little gather. They didn't use elastic for the lower part, they just use the bias to turn it. I'm using the same material to turn the lower part. So I have a 2 inch stripe here. I'll fold it into 2, stitch it right from the right side, stitch it, and after I've done that, I will stitch it on the turn it to the other side and then stitch it again. So guys, I'm done stitching the sleeve. I will turn it to the right side. So this is the lower part. So go ahead and attach it to the dress. I've already attached the other side. And I'll turn it like so, right side facing right side. I'll use 1/2 inch to join them together. So I'll be adding a collar stand, like a band, to the neckline. I will measure the neckline and use it to cut it out. So I have 20 inches for the round neckline. Though I've done series of this video in this channel, I will still go through it. My fabric is folded in a triangle form. I'll fold it like so. I'm cutting out the neckband. So I will come down right from the top here. I folded into 2. I come down 10 inches from the top. I will mark it round 10 inches or 9 inches. You mark it round. So from here I will take 2.5 inches because I want it to be 1.5 inches after stitching it. I will use 1/2 inch to join this upper part and 1/2 inch for the lower part. I will mark 2.5 inches round. So I have 10.5 inches here. That's fine because I'm using 1 inch for sewing allowance. So I'll go to this side here and make a curve here. I'll cut it. I'm cutting out 2 of these and the iron interfacing on it. I will cut out 2 of these and the iron interfacing on it. So guys, I've ironed the interfacing on it. I will turn it to the wrong side. I cut out 2. I'll place it like so. I will leave 1/2 inch unsewed and 1/2 inch unsewed. I will stitch it right from here and bring it to this side. And this is the collar stand. I'm just stitching it. I didn't stitch it halfway, I just stitch it all through because I'm using a different method to attach it. I will just explain to you how I will add my buttons. These are my buttons. I have about 8 buttons here. After I'm done attaching the collar stand to the neckline, I will start right from here. So I will give a 4 inch space between each button. This is the first one. This is the second one. This third, 4 inches gap. I will do it all the way to the lower part. I've already attached my buttons here. I just want to explain to you guys how to attach it. So my buttons will be on this side. That's how they attach the one in the picture. So this is where I will mark the button holes. I will mark the same thing I marked for the buttons and mark it right on this button holes. I will just mark 4 inches gap between each button holes. I will use hand needle to attach my buttons. Yeah. So for the collar, I will take it like so. I will use different method to attach it. This is the neckline. I will take it like so. Now use half hinge to join it to the neckline. After I've done that, I will use an overlock machine to tidy up the edges. So guys, I'm done attaching the collar stands to the neckline. See how beautiful the dress is. It's very neat inside and outside. I've also attached my buttons. This is the back. Thank you so much guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I will see you guys in my next one. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to turn on your notifications so you get to know whenever I upload a new video. Love you all. Bye.